I've had to redub the audio on the main unboxing bit because for some reason it sounded like this. Unboxing, this time it's Thermalright. So this is an unboxing video for the Thermalright frozen WARFRAME 360 black ARGB all-in-one cooler. It's got a pretty funky little screen on it. So we'll have a look at the side of the box and see what it says on there. If I flip it over, you'll see that the specifications for the cooler are on the bottom, so you can pause it now and have a look. And the whole thing supports Aura, so it should work with open RGB. Let's open it up and have a look. So there's a cardboard on the top, just as like a lid. Get that out of the way. Here's the main manual that comes with it. It's fairly comprehensive. It's in 2 languages. I think one's Chinese, and one is English. You've got a list of parts there, and then you've got general instructions on how to fit it, how to put it. Well, obviously you choose which socket and then you use the bits from that. So we'll see in a minute there are actually quite a lot of components. It looks a bit bewildering, but once you realize you only need the parts for your socket, it becomes a hell of a lot simpler. So we'll have a look at the box now. So it's in that white box I'm about to open up. First thing is there's a USB cable. That's a USB header to USB-C. That's for the screen. It doesn't actually control the pump, it's just for the screen. And in here are the main bundle of bits. Quite intimidating, a lot of bits in there because it actually supports a huge range of processor sockets. So first thing we'll look at, I think, is going to be that cable there. So that's a fan splitter cable, so all 3 fans go into that and then they go into the motherboard header. There's some Thermalright TF7 paste. You get a tube of that with it, syringe of that with it, more on that later. And then you get all the other little fittings, screws, risers, all sorts of stuff. So let's have a look at this now. This is the main device, so we'll just pull that out of the box and have a look. First thing is that, well, the first thing you notice is the fans are pre-mounted, which is really good, isn't it? Because it saves a job, because each fan's got 4 screws. So you got 3 fans, so they're already attached. There's also some quite nice little separators on the tubing to help you position it, sort of like combs. And you can see the screen there on top of the actual cooler itself. That's the pump block, plastic on the bottom to protect the contact plate, and then there's a connector there. That connector will go to the pump header on your motherboard, and then each fan has got an ARGB and it's got a PWM fan connector. They've got little covers for the ARGB connectors that aren't being used, so that you don't short them. So that's quite a nice touch, quite like that. So a little bit of spaghetti there. Obviously it all plugs into that one connector then, which goes into the CPU fan header on the motherboard. So there's nothing particularly surprising so far. That essentially is the unboxing, but I'm just going to measure it because I want to see how big it is. So let's measure the entire length of it and then flip that down like that and then have a look, and it is 40 centimeters. So although it's 360mm advertised because it's 3 times 120 fans, the actual whole radiator is 40 centimeters because you've got a bit where the tubes go in and a bit at the other end. So it is a bit longer than 360, but hopefully that'll help you to decide whether it's going to fit in your case or not, because you can measure it and compare it. So yeah, I think that's probably the unboxing sorted out. I'm going to do a bit now about fitting it and talk about a few of the things I noticed. So have a little look at that bit. I would normally end now, but keep watching and we'll see what happens. Hello, so little end bit. I mentioned I'd talk about the cooler actually once it's been fitted. So here it is inside the PC that I've built for a customer. The actual cooler itself, the assembly of it and putting it in, dead easy. Really easy. No surprises, no funny little springy bits, no things you're going to cut yourself on. It's actually quite great. The only problem I have, I suppose, is that the included thermal paste is quite thick, so it's quite difficult to spread it. So you're probably better off squirting a blob in the middle of the you know, on top of the CPU, and then just squidge it and hope for the best. So that was a bit annoying. I don't know if you can put it in a cup of hot water or something just to soften it up, but I haven't bothered to test that. Just a thought I had while I'm talking now. So the paste is a bit unspreadable. The actual screen itself is actually quite good. It's quite a clear screen. You can see on the here, look, you can see I've set up a little test one, and it's got various information. You've got CPU usage, and you've got temperature, the big 1% there, and the 31, that's the temperature for the graphics card. If you go into here, there's lots of different background things that you can set on, and I mean, there's hundreds of them. Well, not hundreds, yeah, there probably is literally hundreds of them. And it's like, well, I don't care. Why? So whilst that's great to have a fiddle with for about 10 minutes, there are some preset themes as well. The preset themes are pretty ugly, as you can see. So I've gone with this one here, which is actually, I think it's quite nice. And I've tried to match the colour of the LEDs in the case to the colours on there. And yeah, I think that kind of works. If you go into this bit here, you can see, you can actually, I mean, do you remember when, you probably don't remember, but there was the plus pack for Windows 95, was it? Windows 95 plus pack. And it gave you all these configuration options where you could change the little sounds, and you could change the mouse pointer, and you could do all sorts of, you know, and you'd spend like hours just configuring it all and going, yeah, this is brilliant, I can, and then 10 minutes later you set it back to the defaults. So there are, you can micromanage this. Luckily, once you've set one of the little profiles up with, you know, what you want on the screen, you can export it and import it, so you can save it so that you can replace it if you ever need to, you know, if the cooler ever gets moved to another system. But there are a bewildering number of options, like stupid number of options. You can add the time on it, you can add the date, you've got a text box, there's various things for fan speeds, basically all the different things that the motherboard is monitoring you can add to the screen, and then you can put your own background on. You can also put animated GIFs in as well, and it's like, oh, it's I don't know, actually, do I GIFs? I think you can do GIFs. I haven't really looked into it because I don't want to get too involved in it, but there's a load media player, load video, so you can actually have it playing the video, and it's like, okay, great. If you're, the bottom line is, if you're looking at that screen there and fiddling with that screen there, what about your main screen? It's it doesn't stand up to scrutiny, does it? So having the CPU temperature and the GPU temperature is obviously kind of useful, but everything else, why? The actual software is also incredibly annoying, because once you install it, every time it boots, you get a UAC prompt saying, are you sure you want to be able to do this? Are you sure you want to be able to do this? Every single time. And they haven't fixed that. It's been like that for quite a long time, from what I can gather. This is the first time I've used one of these coolers. It is a very cheap cooler, but for the money, it's fantastic. But you get this UAC prompt, and there is a way around it. You have to go into Task Scheduler and create it as a on login task with high admin rights, and then it skips the UAC. But you shouldn't have to do that. They should have fixed that. So that's quite annoying. The other thing is that when the pumps on the, because this motherboard's got a all-in-one pump header on it. When the pump's on the highest speed, it's actually quite noisy. You can hear it whirring away. I don't know if you, I mean, this computer here has had the side panel off, and you can definitely hear it. With the side panel on, maybe not, but there's a huge air gap here in the case. because it's obviously open at the back. So that also, when if you've got headphones on, you won't hear it, but if you're just generally pottering about, you could probably... So what I've done is I've slowed the pump down to about 50% speed, and I've tweaked, and you do that, you can't do that with this software, you have to do that in the BIOS. So the BIOS fan control section, I've moved the all-in-one pump to about 50% speed, and what I noticed is as I was moving it around, that was kind of, it starts to get audible when you get above 50%. I'm going to do some temperature tests, and I'm pretty sure it's going to be all right. I mean, if I do a CPU-Z benchmark now, we'll see what happens. So I'll just benchmark the processor in CPU-Z, and we'll see what it thinks about that. So I'll bench it here. So we'll just bench it, and we'll see what sort of temperatures we're getting. And you can see that it's dynamically reacting to it. Now the fans have slightly speeded up, but it's 99% being used, and it's only at 52 degrees. So that's pretty good, isn't it? And that's the benchmark over. So I'm not going to stress it. There'll be a warning for this. Oh, there isn't a warning. It just lets me do it. So I'm now stressing it, and you can see temperature's rising. 51 degrees, 52 degrees. The CPU is at 99% load. If I go into, let's have a look in Task Manager, and we'll have a nice little look at that. Find where it is. So there's the CPU there, logical cores. So there's quite a lot of cores there, isn't there? And they're all at 100%. So I can close that again. And you can see the temperature is still 53 degrees. That's impressive, isn't it? Actually, that's really impressive. So 100% load, I'm burning the pants off it, and it's still 53 degrees C. There's cool air coming out the top. It's just not getting hot. So as a cooler, yeah, really, really good. But then I suppose it should be, because it's 360 mil wide, isn't it? So yeah, I'll close that now. So the software is a bit clunky. I think the NZXT software, the cam software, is a little bit easier to use and a little bit more friendly, but I'll see how you can get into this, because you can configure the screen to, the configurations options for the screen are pretty incredible. It is a bit fiddly because you've got to line things up. So if you're one of these people that like things to be lined up, then you're not going to enjoy doing this, because it's going to frustrate you a little bit. So basically, summary: very good at cooling, fantastic at cooling, and when you consider the price into it, it's amazing, frankly. As long as your case obviously is big enough for it to fit into, it's absolutely incredible. The annoying UAC is annoying. You can get around that. I'm not going to do it in this video, but there are a couple of videos that explain how to create a task using Task Scheduler that stops that from happening. The pump is noisy at high speeds, but we kind of knew that anyway, because what pump isn't? And the screen is a bit fiddly if you want to get into customizing it and moving things around. But apart from that, it's actually pretty great. And cooling wise, as I've already said several times, cooling wise, awesome. So hopefully this video has helped you. If you've got any questions about it, then stick them in the comments. Liking and subscribing is appreciated. And thanks for watching.